What's happening, Captains? It's me, truly the dumbest. And today, I return. I think it's been like over a month since I last uploaded, which was I believe my Freddy rework part, or remaster part 2 thing. And I apologize for that. If I had to be honest, I really got lazy when it came to recording gameplay. But if I had to lie about why I'm not here, it would be there's been nothing to talk about in Dead by Daylight. You know, the game's been kind of, I guess, stagnant since the April update, which has been a great update, by the way. And I don't not like recording gameplay because I haven't been having fun with the game. I've been having a lot of fun. I just really don't like recording gameplay. It's really annoying. I have to connect it to my computer from my Xbox, do all that fancy garbage. Nonetheless, though, I'm back. I want to be uploading a few short videos, or a smaller videos over the next week or a couple weeks. But I do have a really big video planned for sometime this fiscal year. So look out for that, or don't. I wouldn't hold your breath. What I would hold, though, is hope for a greater tomorrow. That was really stupid. I know why you're here. Today I have an idea for a light Nemesis, I guess not really rework, a Nemesis buff with an add-on pass. And in case you're wondering, the next couple of smaller videos will just be add-on passes for killers I think need add-on passes. Nonetheless, though, I really don't know how else to build this up, so I'm just going to jump straight into the changes. So, see you there. Alright, so first and foremost, with the Nemesis changes, I'm going to go through a couple of base kit buffs I think could be done, or should be done more realistically, to the Nemesis to make him just a bit better. Because Nemesis, he's not a bad killer. I'd say Nemesis is a perfectly fine killer. He's got a pretty good anti-loop. He's got a pretty good mid-range ability. He's got some fine passive abilities. Overall, he's nothing too special, and he's nothing really bad. He's kind of like, I'd say, a bit weaker. No, he's not. I was gonna say, no, he's a weaker Pyramid Head. I completely forgot Pyramid Head existed. But nonetheless, despite the fact that I think he's in pretty good state, I think he could be better without being too strong. So my first change, above all else, and if I had to choose any change on this thing to make a reality, I would choose this one. By default, the Nemesis tentacle strike is 6 meters. So, for those who don't know, at the moment, the Nemesis, he is at a from mutation rate 1 and 2, he's got a 5 meter radius, or 5 meter tentacle strike. My god, I can't speak right now. But in tier 3, he gains 6 meters. Now, for those who watch my channel for a bit, you would know that I have a running joke whenever I play Nemesis, and that's whenever I'm not tier 3, and I miss a tentacle strike by just a wee bit, or whenever I just miss a tentacle strike at all, I like to say that I would have hit that if I was in tier 3. And quite honestly, I think 9 times out of 10 that's absolutely true. Tier 3 is I think, could honestly be argued to be just a base kit Nemesis. It's nothing too strong, but it is effective in chase, and I think that's fine. Maybe minus the pallet breaking with the tentacle, but nonetheless, for my mutation rate 1 change, it would just be make him 6 meters by default. Moving on to the changes that make the mutation rate 2, I would give him the movement speed increase while charging a tentacle strike, which is currently given in tier 3, and I increase the range of a tentacle strike from 6 meters to 6.25. So just as it goes on, adding a bit more range to it. I don't think 6.25 and the final reach of 6.5 will be too strong. I just think it'll make it a bit more effective without, again, making it too overpowered. But that's really it for mutation rate 3. Or for 2, mutation rate 3 now, as I just stated, from 6.25 meters to 6.5 meters for the tentacle strike, a range I think is effective without being too strong. And then my next change is tentacle strike guarantees an injury and infection. What's happening, Cabinets? It's me, truly the post-production, the 5th. I'm not sure how many I've done of these now. I've lost track of my own generations. What I've not lost track of, though, is the fact that I want you to ignore the base kit injury of mutation rate 3. You'll find out why towards the end of the video. But for now, I'll keep it a surprise. Just know that you should ignore what I just said about the base kit injury of mutation rate 3 tentacle strike. Anyway, bye-bye. Now, I think the one thing Nemesis is lacking at the moment is his, not effectiveness, no, his mortality, his injury rates, how effective he is at injuring people, due to the fact that Tentacle Strike only damages upon infection. I think that kind of lowers how much. I can't articulate what I'm thinking. Okay, let me run it back for a second. Because of the fact that Nemesis's Tentacle Strike has to infect before it can injure, I think that removes a lot of lethality. That's the word. Lethality that he could use. So I think making tier 3 have the ability to injure with Tentacle no matter what. I think that makes Nemesis feel a lot more effective and a lot more lethal, and also makes his mutation rate 3 play a lot more different from his first and second mutation rates, which is an issue with Nemesis as it is. So, yeah, that might be a bit too strong. You could try to force that into an add-on. I did not, though, obviously, and of course you'll know more in depth what I did for add-ons in a minute. But beyond that, my final change would be giving him a new ability upon becoming tier 3, and that's Command. Now, this is pretty much what everybody thinks his new ability he should gain in tier 3 is. When using a secondary ability button, place a marker, which will draw the nearest zombie over. The zombie will linger within the area for 30 seconds or until blinded, in which you'll just go about its normal buggy-ass routine. Using Command will grant zombies a 1 meters per second movement speed increase for 15 seconds, just so it can go to the area it's being pinned, or that's been pinned faster. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing too advanced. And the last change to make to mutation rate 3, that's not affecting Nemesis, would be the zombies. Increases zombie movement speed by 0.45 meters per second. So just give him a speed boost increase. And then zombies can't be destroyed through being stunned. I think these changes, once again, could make Nemesis feel a lot more different in his mutation rate 3 than it currently is, because at the moment, you really can't, it doesn't feel like you're going through 3 different stages a whole lot. It kind of just feels like that's not entirely right. Nemesis between each stages doesn't feel different enough to make an impact on the way you play him, in my opinion, beyond mutation rate 2. I feel like making more benefits to tearing up will make him feel a lot more effective and aggressive when you're playing him and getting up in the tiers. I don't think that makes sense. What does make sense, though, is everything I have coming after this. So let's just move on to that before I ramble on further. Alright, now it's time for the bulk of this video, the actual reason this video is being made, and that's the add-on pass. Now, of course, for people who don't know, the Nemesis has some of the worst collection of add-ons in the game. He has like 2 or 3 useful add-ons, and even then, those add-ons aren't that great. He has some of the worst add-ons in the game, alongside Pyramid Head and Freddy, in my opinion. So these changes will be a lot more aggressive and a lot more of a jump than most add-on reworks or add-on passes I usually do. So if some things seem very strong, that's either intentional or an accident, you decide for yourself. So we're going to start with the brown add-ons. Now, the first brown add-on, Visitor Wristband. Increases the zombie detection or the survivor detection range of zombies by 5 meters, previously 2. And added new effect, increases zombie attack range by 0.25 meters. Now, for the Visitor Wristband, the other wristband, and then another add-on, which we'll get to later, I decided to add an effect that I just read, which would be to increase the zombie attack range. Now, think about how many times you played Nemesis, and you're in chase, and there's a zombie there, and they just barely missed the survivor by just a wee bit. That makes me feel really sad. I hate that, and I hate behavior for making the zombies so useless. So this is kind of just to make those moments not happen. A survivor will have to play a lot more safe around a zombie if, they know the add-ons in play, or if they want to not risk getting infected. So I felt like adding that to the Visitor Wristband and the other stuff will make it more useful, while also making the zombies a bit more consistent. Now, 0.25 meters, I think may be too much. I think more realistically, 0.15 meters. 0.15 meters will be more reasonable. But of course, that's, as I usually say, the downside of paper in gameplay. Nonetheless, though, beyond that, I don't have any changes for the second current effect for the Visitor Wristband, which I believe would be the FOV changes, the field of view changes to the zombies, I believe. Whenever I don't mention a change to like a section of an add-on, that usually means I leave it unchanged. So for this case, whatever the FOV change would be, like 30% or something, that stays unchanged. That'll still be there. You know, it just, I don't have any reason to mention it. So, you know, moving on to the Stars Field Combat Manual. And the first thing I did was I removed its original effect entirely. It's terrible. It's probably his second worst add-on. Now moving on from that though, added, whenever a zombie locks on to a survivor, that survivor will have their aura revealed to you for 2 seconds. So basically the inverse of what the combat manual originally was. So instead of you seeing the aura of the zombie that was damaging a survivor, the survivor will have their aura revealed. Now, of course, this add-on will still probably be terrible. And in fact, I think you can buff this thing to like 40 seconds and it still won't be good. Because it's so rare whenever a zombie hits a survivor without you in chase with it. But nonetheless, I think this makes the add-on just more usable, I guess. It'll still be terrible, though. But yeah. Moving on to Damaged Syringe. Removes previous effect. Increases the time it takes for a survivor to cure themselves by 3 seconds. Originally, the Damaged Syringe, I believe, made the injection time longer? I actually don't know. I'm going to be honest, I'm not fully sure what the difference between curing and injecting is. On the DBD wiki they were listed as 2 different things, so I assumed that they were 2 different things. This add-on I'm not too sure about, I'm going to be honest. This kind of just stumped me a bit, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Brian's Intestine increases zombie movement speed by 0.35 meters, previously 0.25. Nothing too big there. I feel like the add-on's already fine as it is. Just give it a bit of a boost so it stays on par with all the other add-ons getting buffed. Yeah, nothing too special. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the brown add-ons. Now moving on to the green add-ons. Zombie Heart. Removed previous effect, which I believe is just increasing infection rate of zombies by like 50%. Added, injured survivors are inflicted with the hemorrhage and mangled status effect while contaminated. So, usually I'm not a fan of status effect add-ons, add-ons that kind of just apply status effects whenever something happens. I feel like in this case though, survivors, if they play their cards improperly, they'll be infected a lot or contaminated a lot, and if they get injured, it'll, I think, make a greater impact on the game than like a normal status effect add-on would make. So that's that. Also, this is not green. This is yellow, or this is not rare. This is uncommon. I don't know why I kept on thinking it was rare. Moving on though, Mikhail's Eye. Increased zombie movement speed by 0.55 meters per second, previously 3.5. Once again, same thing for Brian's Intestines, just to keep it on par with other add-on buffs, making it a bit stronger. Nonetheless, Marvin's Blood increases mutation rate when hitting survivors with a tentacle strike by 33%, previously 25%. Now, for those of you who are keen viewers, I think that's the right word, you would notice that I just reverted its nerf, which still to this day, it's got to be one of the dumbest add-on nerfs I've ever seen in my life. I think Behavior has an issue with the way they view add-ons, and this was very exemplified during the April mid-chapter PTB, where they nerfed Doom and Death Engravings just because they're used a lot. Now, I think something Behavior really needs to understand about add-ons. Just because they're used a lot doesn't mean the add-on's too strong. That usually means the add-on is their only good add-ons. Same thing with Billy, same thing with Nemesis. The only time I can think of a character having a high usage rate for an add-on because it's actually too strong is Blight. And even then, all of his add-ons are way too strong and should all be nerfed. So, miniature rant aside, I'm going to move on to Adrenaline Injector. Injector? My lord. Injector. Removed previous effect. Gain the haste status effect by 5% for 20 seconds when a zombie is destroyed. I don't remember what its original effect was. It was pretty useless, though, if I remember properly. I think this would make a bit more of an interesting dynamic to destroying a zombie, kind of giving more incentive to manually destroy zombies yourself, while also pairing nicely with a couple other add-ons that we'll get to in a moment. Nonetheless, though, nothing too advanced or specific, so moving on to Admin Wristband, which increases the survivor detection range for zombies by 10 meters, previously 4. I'm going to update these before. Yeah, sorry, I'm reading a bit of an older version than what's probably going to be on screen, so everything's a bit, there's typos abound, as you should know if you've seen my videos. Nonetheless, from 10 to 4 meters, same reasoning as the previous wristband, the visitor's wristband, and of course, just like the visitor's wristband, added. Increases zombie attack range by 0.5 meters. Now, once again, I believe 0.5 meters is way too much the more I go on, so it's probably going to be listed as 0.3 meters, so it goes up every 1.5 or 0.15% rather than the 0.25 it currently is. And of course, just like the other add-on as well, this will not affect this does not affect the FOV increase by any means. So, yeah. Yeah. So, moving on to the green add-ons now. Starting off with Tyrant Gore. There's, of course, the add-on. Currently, this... What am I talking about? The change I would make increases mutation rate when destroying zombies with a tentacle strike by 100%. Previously, 50%. Currently, this thing does 50%, like I just mentioned, and it also respawns zombies 5% quicker. Just like I've mentioned with the wristbands, that will have no changes to it, which is why it's not listed. So, that's that. Let's move on to T-Virus Sample, which currently just increases mutation rate when hitting zombies by 100%. What it does now increases the survivor detection range of zombies by 15 meters, increases the field of view of zombies by 25%, increases the attack range of zombies by 0.45 meters. Now currently I have this listed as 0.75 meters. What you are looking at is an updated version though, because as we have just discussed, 0.5 is too much, let alone 0.75. So that's that. Now I decided to make T-Virus Sample a continuation of the wristband add-ons because lore-wise, and we all love the lore, when something is injected with the T-Virus Sample, it's jacked as shit. That's my reasoning. Serotonin Injector, though, gained the undetectable status effect for 20 seconds when a zombie is destroyed. Previously, 15. Just a small buff, just to keep it in line with the rest of the buffs, just like the intestine of Brian and the Mikhail's eyeball. But, a more substantial change. Int 43 vines. Removed previous effect, which I believe was just increased the opening time of chest by 4 seconds. Now what it does in this hypothetical add-on rework increases the hindered status effect duration after being contaminated by 0.75 seconds. Now I'm not going to lie to you. When I wrote this, I had no idea that the survivors are hindered by 20% when they're contaminated. Nonetheless, though, it's only a second. I think it'll be fine. Maybe a bit hefty. Because at the moment it's 0.25 and that makes like no impact. So I think maybe 1 second make bigger impact. Who knows? Maybe this is too strong. Once again, paper and gameplay. That's my slogan now, is paper and gameplay. Anyway, Plant 43 Vines is pretty useless now. At least this will make it usable. Even if they knocked it down to 0.25 or 0.50, I still think it'd be a lot better than anything that it... Why am I ranting about nothing? So, moving on to Liquor Tongue. Easily, in my opinion, the worst add-on in the game. Liquor Tongue. Removed previous effect. Survivors injured by tentacle strike are inflicted with the Deep Wound status effect. Now, Deep Wound, I get, is a bit annoying on killers like the Legion and Deathslinger, but I feel like Nemesis doesn't really have that kind of injuring capability, unless he's using Tier 3 in this case. Nonetheless, though, I think this is an effective add-on. Maybe a bit annoying, but I don't think it'd be too strong. Not to mention, of course, once again, Liquor Tongue is the most useless add-on in the game. I think any change they could make would be way better than it is now. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to end this section by saying yeah over and over again. What I am going to do, though, is, of course, move on to the purple add-ons. Of which those are, starting off with, Jill's Sandwich. After a survivor unlocks a supply case? What am I reading? Their aura is revealed to the Nemesis for 15 seconds, previously 12. Added, increases supply case opening time for survivors by 5 seconds. So essentially taking the Plant 43 previous effect, buffing it a bit, adding it on, and increasing the aura rating by for 15 seconds. Now, Jill's Sandwich isn't entirely a bad add-on. It's very okay, but I feel like you could have just that bit more to make it a bit more viable. Plus, I'm of the opinion that purple add-ons should be very strong without changing the way the killer is played, or changing the way the killer is interacted with. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think it should substantially change the killer, just buff him. So I feel like this goes in line with at least my beliefs on how purple add-ons should work. Doing the same thing, of course, is the Pleated Ink Ribbon. Now, the Pleated Ink Ribbon reduces zombie respawn time by 10 seconds, previously 5. And increases zombie movement speed by 1.5 meters a second. That's not right. I put that there? Previously 0.5. Oh yeah, no, that won't be too strong. Yeah, kind of just doubles its speed casually. It shouldn't be too strong though. I don't think so, at least. Of course, paper and gameplay. Broken Recovery Coin is the next purple add-on though, and I have no changes for that. I think it's perfectly fine. Now, one add-on I almost completely forgot about just now is the NAE Parasite. Now, remove its previous effect, because its previous effect was kind of stupid. Its new effect increases the mutation rate when hitting survivors with the Tentacle Strike by 49%, which is 3/4 the strength of base kit Nemesis, whereas 33% is double base kit Nemesis and contamination thing. I did do math on this, and I believe that this is a good add-on. Yeah, no, it's nothing too special. I mean, honestly, it's pretty straightforward, so I don't really think it needs further explaining. Ignoring the fact that I just almost forgot about it, we're going to move on to Iridecsent Addons, which I think have the most significant changes out of all of them. Starting off with the Shattered Stars badge, which I have here with a random parentheses at the end. Removed previous effect. After using a vaccine, survivors suffer from the exposed status effect for 60 seconds. Now, if I'm being honest with you, I'm 70% sure that was Iridecsent Umbrella badge. Is it? You know, I would apologize for me being a massive mess recording this, but I feel like by this point this should be expected of me, because I am just the definition of a mess. Let me just scroll on down here. Sorry, I'm pulling up DBD Wiki right now. Yeah, so for some reason, I mean, I know why, because I have it here, but I decided to transfer over the Umbrella badge to the Stars badge. That's really interesting that I did that. I don't know why I did that. Well, I do know, like I said, I know why I did that, but I don't know why I did that. So we're going to move on to Iridecsent Umbrella badge to try to, I guess, try to understand my weird-ass decisions. Removed previous effect, of course. Added. Start the trial in mutation rate 2. Added. Increases the amount of contamination required to reach mutation rate 3 by 75%. Added. Mutation rate 3 guarantees an injury. What am I doing? Why is my brain... I'm so dysfunctional. I am not a functioning human being. So I guess if I had to choose between the two, I think it'd be better than if we ignore what I put here, that guarantee. Okay. Jesus Christ, wow, I'm sure you can tell this is my first video back. This is far more dysfunctional than I usually am. This is impressive levels of dysfunction. I mean, nonetheless, I'm sure you understand the point of the add-ons. I can't explain why I switched them, though. I do remember. I feel like lore-wise, because we all love the lore, Shattered Star Badge makes more sense with the effect, and Iridescent Umbrella Badge makes more sense with the effect. A lot of the time when I do add-on changes, I like to think of effects that kind of match the add-on and the description of the add-on. In this case, I felt like the Iridescent Umbrella Badge effect matched Shattered Stars Badge more than the Iridescent Umbrella Badge did with it. And I felt like the changes I added to the Iridescent Umbrella Badge made more sense for the Iridescent Umbrella Badge rather than the Stars Badge, which is why I decided to switch the add-ons. So now that you have a bit of a peek into how my mind doesn't work, and by that I mean, of course, my mind just does not function, that's going to be it for this absolute hodgepodge of a mess. I don't even think I can describe this as a mess because it's so messy. It is like the king of all messes. Nonetheless, though, I hope you guys enjoyed. I mean, once again, I would apologize for being such a mess, but I mean, it makes no difference. You guys who are not new to this channel know that I am a complete mess. I'm excited to get back on this horse. Like I said, we're going to do a couple more add-on pass videos. I can promise you, though, I will be triple checking those 3 weeks in advance. So nothing like this happens again. But those will just be flat out add-on passes. There will be no base kit changes because the killers I just don't think need changes. I'll give a little bit of a hint towards which one of or the next one. By hint, I'm never going to tell you outright. It will be Pyramid Head. I want to do Pyramid Head's add-on pass next. That'll be coming out sometime next week or so. Maybe this week. It depends on when I feel like doing it. And then after I'm done with the add-on passes, I'm going to release a really big, deep video. I don't want to spoil it because I'm very excited for it. But it's going to take a lot of writing and stuff. It'll hopefully be scripted. For once, I'll be doing a scripted video. But yeah, nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my ramblings, my rantings, and of course the self-destruction of my brain. See when I... Okay, osteoporosis. I shouldn't be allowed to talk for more than 10 minutes at a time.